Last month we looked at this whole idea of going from ordinary to extraordinary. This month we're talking about is trouble-free living. Trouble-free living. So the question is, has anybody here ever had some trouble in life? Nobody? So the next question is, how many of us would really like to live a life trouble-free? Amen. I mean, y'all think about that. So here's a real question I want to raise with us today. Is it even possible to live life trouble-free? I said, is it possible to live life trouble-free?
Yes.
You say you want to live a trouble-free life. Is it possible to live a life trouble-free? Everybody here said yes, raise your hand. Everybody don't say no, raise your hand. Everybody don't know, raise your hand. So the idea is living a trouble-free life. So I want to give us, I'm going to kind of share where we're going. We're going to lay out 3 spiritual principles first. And then we're going to turn to Psalm 8. The entire chapter, the entire division they're looking at from the NLT translation to really understand this idea about trouble-free living. So these 3 spiritual principles I'll offer will really give us a foundation about this whole concept of trouble in particular in our lives. So here's the first spiritual principle. First of all, this is how most of us live. We are recognized and preparing for trouble. I was amazed last week in particular. It was just so interesting to me, kind of listening to the conversations after service. And so last week, we finished hugging over here and getting ready to go over here. And as soon as Brother Lewis was walking the kitty cat, she said, "Here comes trouble." Now, I wouldn't call him trouble. I have some other words I might use. I wouldn't necessarily call him trouble. And the first thing out of her mouth was, all you want to do is hug. And she said, "Here's something trouble." So this is how many of us are living our lives. Like whenever something we see certain people, we think, "Oh, here comes some trouble." So here's the point we want to make here. Too many believers are expecting, accepting, and embracing trouble. Come on now. Too many of us are expecting trouble. Just like this. Here comes trouble. Too many here come, and I know his wife says something totally different. So that is, we are expecting trouble. But here's the point. When trouble shows up, we accept it. We sign for the package. And then when trouble shows up, we will embrace it like it will always be there. We were visiting somebody not too long ago, and she said, and somebody was saying something about, well, I guess Arthur and myself are going to be okay. I'm like, the person we were talking to was not an even man. I'm like, Arthur, you got somebody named Arthur in your life? Talking about arthritis. I'm like, you don't need to be embracing trouble like that. Yeah, we're accepting trouble and embracing trouble and then expecting trouble. At some point, now if we want to be, now here's the point. If we really say we can live a trouble-free life, at some point we can't keep expecting and keep signing for the package and accepting and cannot keep on embracing the trouble that comes to our lives. Last week, we introduced this point. I want to make sure we cover again. Please read this with me. We talked about this last week. We must inspect what we expect, then correct. Now, here's the point. If we are expecting low, we have to go back and determine what is it about my past? What is it about my understanding that's causing me to expect so low? If God has already made extraordinary living available, and I'm going to live an ordinary life, I got to inspect and examine why I'm expecting so low, and then make a change to correct it. Amen, somebody. I got to make sure that at this point I got to start inspecting. So here's the point. In life, all of us have some expectations. But the challenge is all our expectations are all over the place. Some are high expectations, some low. And we have to inspect and examine. Why am I expecting so low? Maybe we're expecting so low because the last time we expected high didn't come to pass. Maybe we expected so low because the last time. So here's the point. So we expect low. So if something better happens, we're like, all right. No. Please write down Ephesians 3:20. I'm telling you, this verse has been a sub-verse for our year. Now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can ask or think according to the power that works within us. It's time for us as believers to start expecting higher. Can you just give God one hand clap of praise right now to believe right now we're expecting higher? But our call is, and this is the invitation that we're going to have this whole year. It's time for us to examine, to inspect what we expect, and if I'm expecting incorrectly to the word, have to go back and correct it. Now, the next thing, now, please read this with me. It is time to do what? Expect what? Extraordinary manifestation. Extraordinary what next? Breakthrough. And also extraordinary what? Come on now, once again. It's time to expect extraordinary what? Extraordinary what? And y'all getting that? It's time to expect, see, that's what low expectation. It's time to expect extraordinary what? Extraordinary what? And extraordinary. I want to write, if you believe God right now for extraordinary favor, breakthrough, and also manifestation, please give God one more hand clap of praise today. And I understand everybody in here has failed at something in life. And we're trying to protect ourselves and not set ourselves up for failure again. But the point was, maybe I failed before because I didn't have the knowledge of the word. Maybe I failed before because I wasn't this close to the Lord. Maybe I failed before because I was out of position. But now that I'm out in position, I should start expecting extraordinary manifestation and extraordinary breakthrough and also extraordinary favor. Too many believers are expecting, accepting, and also embracing trouble. Now it's time to expect what? Triumph, not trouble. Time to believe that even in the midst of what is going on in our lives, that at that point I can still see triumph. Time to recognize, even though trouble is right there, whether you're going to hug them or not, in trouble, I'm still going to recognize at this point, I'm going to still look for triumph in the midst of this. This whole idea about our expectation is just so profound. This idea about inspecting what we expect and then correcting. As I was preparing this message, I was reflecting on the time when we had the wonderful gift of going to Hawaii. So here I'm going to the vacation spot of my dreams with the woman of my dreams, getting ready to go and have the vacation of my dreams. As we were departing the plane, then Pastor had left the book in the plane. So all these people were behind us, and she had this look of terror and horror on her face, having to go back and get the book. I'm like, we flew 3,000 miles. Look at that book. We over here with us. So we got the plane. They got all what they call those things going around your neck? Not a noose, but a lamb. So they put that over there. Like, hey, welcome here. And I'm like, well, welcome here. Y'all can keep the book and everything. It's because at this point our expectation had to be high. Now, let me just give you a little caveat about traveling cross country, folks. As we were going cross country, there was a stewardess on there. What do they call it now? I don't want to mess up it. Whatever. So the stewardess was on there. And she was, and I'm talking about, we right here together. I mean, like we only had 2 seats right here. And you know how you have those seats and they sit right in front of you? So this lady wants to kind of start a conversation. You know, and some people can't get the hint when you don't want to talk. So when she's talking, we have to talk to each other, and she talk to each other, and we not even say anything, just look at each other. And she's like, well, what about this? What about this? And so after a while, Pastor, he got a little concerned about her kind of having more conversation with me. So I'm like, y'all just don't listen. Y'all just see this side. God my Savior, God my deliverer, God my healer. I'm telling you right now, I started seeing that Dudley Panther, Southeast D.C., University of Maryland Park come up out of there. That lady was going back to get pushed out the plane, 30,000 feet above the land. The idea was that the expectation, but here we were going on this ideal vacation. I'm telling you, nothing was going to be able to mess that thing up, and we just had a wonderful time up there. So here's an offering. If our expectation is high, we'll start seeing high manifestation. If our expectation is high, we're going to start seeing high breakthrough. Come on, somebody. If my expectation is high, I'm going to start seeing some high favor. But if my expectation is always low, I got to inspect what I expect. And if that's not correct with the word of God, I got to correct it. So that's our first problem. Spiritual principle number. So here's our first principle again, just to be clear. That we make sure we stop expecting, accepting, and also embracing trouble. Trouble doesn't have a right in our lives just to stay there and move in. If you got a relative that said they want to stay for the weekend, and they're still there 4 years later, something wrong. And that's what we do with trouble. And someone's like, oh, you thank priest, brother, priest. That's what we do with trouble. Trouble comes in, it came to pass. And we make it look like it's supposed to reside there forever. At some point, we are expecting and accepting and embracing trouble much too long in the life of a believer. Here's the second principle I want to lay down. And we're going to go back and really get these principles in our hearts and our spirits throughout this year. So read this with me again. Our first principle again. What is it again? Read together. Too many believers are expecting, accepting, keep going, and embracing trouble. Read it again. Too many believers are expecting, also accepting, and also embracing trouble. One more time. Too many believers are what? Expecting, accepting, and embracing trouble. That's our first spiritual principle. Now here's our second spiritual principle for us to look at this idea about this trouble. Because we're talking about living a trouble-free life here. So I want to talk about, there are probably many more than this. But I want to focus on at least 3 reasons why God allows trouble in life. What is it? Because sometimes believers have thought that trouble has come into our lives because God is mad at us. Sometimes we thought that God has allowed trouble in our lives because he's angry or furious with us. Let's be very clear. One of the primary reasons we celebrate Resurrection Sunday is the fact that all of the anger God would have had, and all the fury God would have had, and all the wrath God would have had, went on to Jesus, so it would not have to go on to us. So now when God looks at us, all he sees is the righteousness of God. So don't think because trouble comes in that God is mad at you. Don't think because trouble comes in that God is turning his back on you. Don't you think because troubles come in that God some kind of way says it's forsaking you. Hebrews 13:5 says, God says, I'll never leave you and I'll never forsake you. So what are these 3 reasons why we have trouble? Well, at least 3 reasons why God allows trouble in our lives. First of all, God allows trouble in our lives. First of all, for our growth. For our growth. For our growth. Now, could we grow otherwise? Yeah, probably. But this trouble was allowed to come for our growth. I want us to start taking a different look at trouble, or a different look at problems when they are arising in our lives for our growth. First of all, I want to offer that sometimes trouble can be a gift. Flower. Trouble can be a gift. Because the trouble helps me mature in an area that I'm going to need to walk in the manifestation God has for me. I say sometimes trouble is allowed to help me grow in an area that I'm going to need to walk in full manifestation from my life. I said, so sometimes trouble is allowed to come in life to help me mature and grow up in an area that may not be as developed as it is, so that I can now walk in the full manifestation God has. Trouble can be a gift. Please read this right now. Every problem is a gift. Without problems, we would not grow. Now this part right here, now there's a book that we were reading a couple years ago called Energy Bus. And it's really talking about how we expend our energy in the course of a day. Like some people spend their energy always mad. Some of them are always upset. Some of them always, how do we thank you, Jesus? And cuss you out in the parking lot. So now, how do we spend our energy? And this part here, so if you can read this, let's read this together. Everything happens for a reason. Now, this even came from somebody who doesn't necessarily claim to be writing points based on spiritual principles. All those spiritual principles are here. Keep going. Don't forget that every person we meet, every event in our life, every flat tire happens for a reason. You knew it was flat when you went home. Keep on going. You can choose to ignore it or ask that reason is and try to learn from it. Every problem is a gift for you in his hands. You can choose to see it as a curse or a gift. The whole premise of this book is when trouble comes, when problems come, when setbacks come, do we view it as a gift or a curse? When we were in Bible study a few weeks ago on Sunday, and Pastor talked about this last Sunday as well, and it just resonated in my spirit. I remember as we were going around, I remember Sister Paula in the midst of all that she's going through and still looking